This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We are live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino, and we have a 3-hour banger lined up for you today. Plenty, of course, on last night's unbelievable game in the NBA, tonight's game, little Major League Baseball today, Brian Mahoney, live in New York, Knicks and Cavaliers preview, and your big boy, Derek Stevens and Mike Palm, a tradition unlike any other, coming in studio 1 hour from right now, and they will tell you, we don't even know, they will tell you what the guarantee is this year for the Circa Sports Football contests, including Circa Survivor, and they will go over the rules that the mad scientist himself came up with this year. What are they going to do about Thanksgiving week? What are they going to do about Christmas week? And are there any other wrinkles into the mix this year? All of it is going to be fresh for all of us coming up in 1 hour. Paulie, a lot of times, sporting events, TV shows, movies, restaurants, whatever, they never live up to the hype. Last night was better than any hype that you could have put on that game. And hopefully that's how the series plays out. And the Thunder, it appears as if they have a big-time Spurs problem. That was insane. And I will say it for the people who don't like the NBA, you need to just carve out a 2.5-hour window whenever the Spurs play to watch Victor Wembanyama, because we're likely never going to see this ever again.
I don't know how you don't like the sport. I mean, the talent is off the charts, and it's just ridiculous. And to watch this alien who might go down as the greatest player of all time. We read that quote yesterday from a coach who said SGA's a great player but not a cheat code. Wemby's a cheat code. And then he dominates and hits the three from Tulsa to send it to double overtime. And it's not like I would give him as many touches as possible. I mean, please, you got to be kidding me. You're putting Caruso on him. You are right that that OKC has a Spurs problem. They're now 5-1 against them. And I still think they made a ton of mistakes. They had 23 turnovers. They were careless with the ball. They were sloppy. They're still young and inexperienced. That was the youngest starting lineup in history in a conference final. But still, what Harper did, what Vassell did, and to make all these plays. But when in doubt, just feed this guy down low, penetrate, throw it up to him, and good things are going to happen.
So, I don't know, maybe people watch games differently and see results a little bit different than what I do, than what you do. I think it was pretty obvious to, 95 out of 100 people watching the game last night that the Spurs were the better team. They led pretty much the entire way, and it would have been a shame had they walked out of there without a win. And
don't turn the ball over.
Sure, and I think that'll get corrected if De'Aaron Fox comes back and handles the point guard duties.
I'll agree with that.
So, because Castle had 11 of those last night, and so that's game one now of the series. However, that's now 6 games that they played this year. They do not have an answer they're not going to have an answer for Victor Wembanyama. Now, my question is, how many more duds like that are we going to get from the cough, cough, MVP of the league? Mm-hmm. He was horrendous last night.
They helped him out, too. Like the layup that tied it, you have to make him hit a jump shot. Don't let him, don't go one-on-one either.
Yeah.
And Wemby's going away from the basket.
Right.
He needs to protect the rim, and you also have to dare him to shoot and don't let him go around you. But I don't know if the Lakers provided the blueprint, but certainly that was incredible how they held him in check, and he was below average.
I'll ask this question. What is more likely to happen as this series plays out? Is it more likely that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to have a game similar to last night, or that Alex Caruso has a game close to what he did last night? I think it's more likely SGA has a game like last night. Caruso's probably not. Come on, that's his best game of all time.
They're leaving him wide open, though.
On purpose, yeah. Right.
But it worked out with everyone but him. But that's the question. You're saying he won't do that again. And still OKC lost the game. I will say, what's Hartenstein doing, and where's Chet Holmgren?
I know.
I mean, Wemby destroyed this guy. And for Holmgren to only knock down 2 shots and utter destruction on the boards, 61-40. Is that going to change? I don't know.
I don't know why Hartenstein was not in the game more than last night. And it appears as if Chet Holmgren, like Wemby takes this personally, I think, getting compared to Chet, because Holmgren looks like he wants to go and sit in a corner and cry. Like he doesn't even deserve to be on the court, and he's a good ball player. And Wemby ate him for lunch last night, and it wasn't even close. I would also point this out. So when you have to tighten up the rotation, like the Spurs were forced to do last night after the Fox News hit, that can be a good thing. Mm-hmm. I would actually ask the question, are the Thunder too deep? Because we saw what happened last night now with Jalen Williams coming back, and now Daigneault has to, it's like a Rubik's Cube. He's got to, figure out the puzzle here, which guys need to play at what time. Like, would they have been better off last night if Williams didn't? And he was fine. He was good. But what does that do to A.J. Mitchell now? A.J. Mitchell was the absolute man in the 4-game series against the Lakers, and it doesn't have a role now.
Yeah.
I mean, and the guys who didn't even play last night for that team. So I guess the good news is there will probably be an other, much like Caruso, who will have a good game like every time they hit the court. You can't expect that from Caruso. So that could be an A.J. Mitchell. It could be a McCain, I guess, if he gets the run. It might be the other Jalen Williams, who knows? But they can't have, SGA has to play like the guy who was given the MVP last night.
Yeah. I still think they shoot too many threes. They shot 43 threes, and they were 30% for the game. To me, that's too many. I love that Wemby only took 2, and he made the big one that counted. But you get the bad news on Fox before the game. Johnson thought he was playing, and then 10 minutes later, no, he's out. Harper, the second rookie, and the first guy since Magic Johnson have 20, 10, 5, and 5 in a playoff game. This is ridiculous. He's 20 years old.
20.
Wemby's 22 years old. What's Castle? 21 years old. Yeah. I mean, this is crazy. And I know you feel good, too, what you tweeted yesterday. These were NBA people who were saying, big mistake to take this guy when he struggled in one summer league game?
I was on, Paul, the next show, we were doing mornings then, the next show that we did, because I think he played on a weekend, when we came back, we talked about it during that show, and I'm like, could you believe the reaction? It's one summer league game for Victor Wembanyama, and he did not look good, and people lost their minds saying the Spurs made a mistake.
Yeah.
And I don't know who this person is, but somebody from Underdog with 23,000 followers seconded what I said last night. He goes, I remember it vividly.
Okay. I remember people saying, whoop-de-doo, this is no big deal. This transcends sports. This is where your mom even knows who he is, and you have to get to a television set. And even what Calcavecchio said about what his rookie cards are going to do going up in value.
That. I mean, my God.
Well, yeah, if he's the MVP and they win the whole thing. I mean, to be 7'4" and do that and just bring the ball up, dribble between your legs, and then shoot from the parking lot and attack the rack, to put the ball on the floor and just throw down a monster dunk and do whatever you want, it's ridiculous.
So the stretch that he had last night, like when he hit the 3 from 30 feet out to tie it up, and then they threw a couple of alley-oops, and he's 10 feet away from the rim, and somehow he puts them in like that. Then he corralled that one block to basically end the game. That felt like a bang-bang sequence where it's like, this, what is happening right now? Did that really just take place on the court where one individual can do all of that in the span of three minutes, the way it felt? So, yeah, as we said yesterday, he is the best player on the court, and that includes the guy who won the second straight MVP. And great timing, by the way, bringing up that quote yesterday, Paul. You know, what you said earlier to begin the show is that he's the real cheat code, and he truly was last night. So now you would think that a team, after losing game 1 at home, it would be a perfect bounce-back spot in game 2 for them, right? But aren't these two teams at least evenly matched? They're laying 6.5 in game 2.
Well, it's also about matchups too. They match up very well against them.
Yes, they do.
And if Chet's going to wet himself in the corner, this is going to be a big problem as well. So we brought up the fact that they were 4-1 against them in the regular season. They averaged 114 points per game against the number 1 defense, and a lot of these games weren't even close. What they did. So to have all those turnovers, and you still win the game like that. Now, it's a whole different story, I guess, if he misses the 3 and then OKC hangs on to win. But I got to see how they respond, and especially SGA and what these other guys do with the supporting cast. So, but to get that out of Harper, for a 20-year-old to play like that after the late news on Fox.
Oh, he's way beyond his
years. And I'm with
you,
because the one thing that Fox can do also, in addition to knock down the 3, but he can penetrate and set it up with Lob City to the guy too, but also take better care of the ball.
What do you think?
I'm not gonna kill the kid for how he played, but also with the silly turnovers. That's going to happen at that age. But they are so far ahead of schedule, it's ridiculous. and you just see that the average age of the starting five last night was 22 years old.
I'm glad that we spent that much time yesterday talking about Harper. Also, we spent I hate myself for this. We spent a couple of minutes talking about Caruso, most threes for the series, and I never bet him. So that's full of regret with that one. But Harper, again, he is refreshing to watch. And I have, in a 20-year-old, I have as much confidence in him going to the rack as like any player in the league. Like when he has the ball isolated and he has one defender in front of him, like he's going to go there and score. Like this person's not going to stop him.
Well, condolences if you had the under. I don't think, double. You need a double overtime to get it. I don't think you can put up a 220 anymore with these teams.
I don't think so either.
You just see it's going to be a grind fest at times, too.
Yeah, the fourth quarter definitely died down.
Yeah.
And it was much more defensive-minded at that point. And I will say that they did, like the Spurs did, I thought some of those were forced, but they missed a bunch of open threes, though, in the game, too. So, and I got news for you, too.
But there's no need to do that when there's two things. When you can just go to the basket and just throw it up. He's got Caruso on.
I agree.
Come on.
Caruso and Jalen Williams, by the way.
It's like your kid trying to guard you playing with the size advantage. And the other thing is, three's bigger than two. I'd rather make SGA knock down a contested jumper than leave Caruso wide open from three.
Okay.
If they're going in, then I have to respect him. Well, and I'm going to say when FGA can't make a shot, then I'm going to dare him to do something.
Yeah, if it's his night, you might want to get a hand on him.
Yeah.
Some guys get hot, and that's,
he's a pro.
Heat check time.
Yeah, he's a pro. You can't leave him wide open.
Sure. I will say, if the Spurs take game 2, it's going to be a sweep. Up next,
easy Cowboy.
Game 1 Eastern Conference Finals, series and player props, MVP numbers. I had to tell one of our colleagues to dial it down about 50 notches on this player. Who that is coming up next.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
I've been looking into Prolon, and what really stood out to me is that it's designed to give you the benefits of fasting without actually having to stop eating completely. It's a plant-based 5-day program with everything pre-packaged for you. Soups, snacks, drinks, all designed to keep your body in a fasting state so it can activate things like cellular repair and renewal. It's actually backed by years of research and developed alongside one of the leading longevity institutes, which makes me feel really comfortable in trying it. Prolon is offering FieldSwell listeners 15% off site-wide plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe to their 5-day program. Just go to prolonlife.com/FieldSwell. Again, that's PROLONLIFE.com/FieldSwell to get your discount and bonus gift today.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
It's good to have you on board. Thanks for watching, as always, on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM Channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our great affiliates across the country. This is and has been one of our favorite shows of the entire year now, several years running. The annual tradition, unlike any other. Derek Stevens, owner, CEO of this great property, and Mike Palm, the VP of Circa Las Vegas, join us in studio to tell us all we need to know about the 2026 Circa Football Contest. Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Oh, Mitch, hello, Paul. How are you?
How you doing? Hi, fellas. How you doing?
Hey, D.
We're very excited about this.
Did you guys have fun leading up to this?
We did.
You did, okay.
We did. I did.
What was the fun part? Filming the commercial?
Did we show the commercial yet?
We have, not today.
Okay.
Nowhere in the world has seen the commercial.
I thought the commercial was pretty good.
It's a really good commercial. Here you go. For those who have not watched it or listened to it yet, here was the commercial, the edition this year for Circa Football Contest.
The biggest contest we've ever seen.
Seriously, what's the guarantee?
They're still talking about it.
I think it's time to put the rumors to rest.
Showtime.
$30 million.
$30 million?
$30 million? $30 million?
That's $30 million guaranteed. 3 contests, multiple ways to win, no rate. Entry starting at $1,000. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
$30 million guaranteed. Now, there's the breaking news. 20 in regular Circus Survivor. You're going to put a guarantee in Grandissimo.
We are. Last year was tough. This was a tough one to figure out. We had a little discussion about that. Last year we guaranteed $1.5 million and blew away all of our expectations with $6.9 million. But how do you come back with that? Like we weren't really sure. Like, did people try it and say, it's too much and we're out? Or is it going to keep growing? So we didn't really know where to go. So we used that as like our fill-in number. We did $20 million for Circus Survivor, $6 million for Circa Millions. We'll get there one of these years. And then Circa Grandissimo, we filled it out to make it 30 because we thought that was a pretty good marketing number.
What did you say? What were you thinking of?
Well, I want to give the backstory here because last year, when we had the meeting before the 2025 season, I said, do we still need to have guarantees? And somebody in the room said, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life. I won't say who. This year, someone else said, are you sure we need guarantees? Derek says, that's a great point. That's we really need to think about that. But then when we decided, we need the guarantees to keep growing, I was very amenable. I mean, I thought 20 was the obvious number. With Survivor, maybe if you wanted to get to 35, you could have went 22-6 and 22-6 and 7 if you wanted to get to the 35 number. But I'm perfectly happy with the way this turned out.
Okay, but as you said last week, though, you think sky's the limit for Grandissimo. You're expecting big
I'm
things.
very surprised if Grandissimo doesn't double.
Yeah,
Because
really?
Things.
Well, thanks for telling us now. We're live on the air.
Would you stop? When things take off, when they're a good idea, typically they have their biggest growth either between year 1 and 2 or year 2 and 3 as a percentage of the base. So I really would, because I don't think everybody really knew about it last year, and I think people might have been reticent. How about it? When we got to 11 entries by August 1st, I think people started to say, but how about the people that were out here before that, right? In the earlier part of the summer, there's nobody signing up. I mean, what is this contest? 100,000. I have to put it up myself. As you see, people made groups, right? You didn't have to all put up 100,000 yourself to get an entry. So I think there's a lot more brand awareness with Grandissimo this year, and I think there's an outside shot that the prize pool in Grandissimo is bigger than Survivor.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you get to
maybe it's 4-1 or 5-1 on that price, but I think it will be over 15 million. If it gets over, if the momentum starts early, who knows?
I would not be stunned if you get like 200 people in that this year.
Are you kidding?
No, I would not. I'm not going to fall off the couch.
20. If something like that happens, talk about what our October is going to be like. It's going to be a ton of fun. The strategy is going to be unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hit them with the idea. What you mentioned last year. But you got to come out swinging now.
Once you put a bug in a guy in like Dana White's ear, he loves to gamble. He loves playing in these contests. He gets involved. He tells his rich buddies. They tell their rich friends. This thing is going to spread like wildfire. And like the poker community, again, once they get involved, you already mentioned the social media influencers. I mean, that's like the sky's the limit for the regular Survivor contest. We're seeing that already. So would you be stunned if it really got to like 200 people? I would not be.
I would love it. I mean, if we could beat last year was unbelievable. If we could beat last year, I'd be pretty happy with that. Obviously, we'd like it to grow, but I'd be pretty happy with that.
Get more of his kind of people around. He'll be very happy.
Yes. Was there any thought about adding another contest this year?
We had a lot of discussion on a few different things. We talked about with Circus Survivor, with Circa Grandissimo, are there any rule tweaks, rule changes? I think you guys know I'm a pretty firm believer NFL is going an 18-game schedule. So because of that, I would rather not tinker with something that I think worked out pretty well right now. I think the NFL could be in the 27th season, but certainly by the 28th season is going to have an 18-game schedule, and I think there's a pretty good chance there's going to be 2 bye weeks. So we saw today. We saw today the first step of what the NFL owners want to do. They're going to go to an 11-game international schedule. So the 10 plus the 1 from Jacksonville, which doesn't count as international for some reason. So they're going to have 11. So then in the next contract, they're going to get up to 16. But this is also when they're going to add the additional game. And then because of the 16 international games, you're going to have to change the bye week rules. So I think we're going to get to like from a Survivor perspective, we're gonna have a period of time. We're gonna look back at 20-0. Those are the good old days. I think we're gonna have to go 22-0 at some point, a couple years from now. But I didn't want to mess around with it too much, and we all talked about it. We all talked about maybe making a move now, and we all decided no, let's hang on with what we got, and let the NFL make this next move because we're pretty sure it's gonna happen.
You can answer this from a contest standpoint or as a businessman from the handle. Do you say more the merrier with standalone games, as long as it doesn't take away from the Sunday schedule? Or how do you feel? You love Wednesday games, Thursday, Friday?
Well, that's like saying, other than that, how did you enjoy the play, Mrs. Lincoln? That's the gaffe, right? Are you taking away from Sundays? I mean, they own a day for 5 months of the year, and I don't want them to take that for granted. But from a business perspective, having standalone games increases the right 2 to 2.5 to 3x on these games, right?
I mean, I love the standalone games. I love this Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. I love the Black Friday. I love all of it because I think the NFL's product is so good. And I think the proliferation of fantasy football. There are players on every team that sports fans want to watch, want to see, and all that. The only thing I'm a little reluctant about on these standalone games is the diversification of the content provider, because I still think there's too many people that come Thursday don't know how to find the game on TV. Come Friday, and now with the high price streamers, you're gonna have to know: are you Paramount Plus? Are you on Apple? Are you on Amazon? What are you doing? So I think there's a lot of people that just aren't going to be able to find the game, and I think that's a little bit of a problem. But maybe NFL is just so big. It's okay. I mean, baseball is a little different. If you happen to have your team on a Friday night game on a streaming site, odds are you're not watching the game because you're not thinking about it. Maybe NFL's bigger than that, and they can blow right through it.
So what are you guys going to do then this year for Thanksgiving week and also Christmas week? The special rules here. Anything new that we need to know about?
Well, we had the new schedule, so we talked about this for quite a while. It's pretty strong consensus. We're gonna go with a 5-game Thanksgiving week. The consensus is he didn't want to do it.
It's a one-vote company. So much as all the speeches he gives about it, he leads by consensus. I mean, at the end of the day, there's one. It was all about the Friday game, Paul.
Okay, Denver-Pittsburgh?
Denver-Pittsburgh.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you put it with 12A and make it a 5-game holiday week, or do you move it? 12B is no joke. I mean, it's a pretty tough schedule. Or do you leave it with 12B and then make, because you have the Christmas Eve game, that's a obvious 4-game week. Then they would both be 4-game weeks. But there was one person that felt very strongly that the Black Friday game should go along with the other Thanksgiving games.
I think 12B then becomes what you got to. This whole thing about what happened on Thanksgiving now, these are premier games. You've got some premier games. I think what's happening now on the Sunday of Thanksgiving, you got to think about who you're going to save. I think all of a sudden the Bengals stand right up, right before you. They're the only big favorite on 12B. They're a 6.5-point favorite. There's not a lot else left after Thanksgiving, after the 3-day Thanksgiving. So you got to figure out who's going to be your team on 12B. So I'm circling the Bengals right now. Early, they're a 6.5-point favorite on Sunday.
Yeah, think about this.
Yeah.
So if that's going to be a 5-game week on 12A, it's the Packers at the Rams, the Bears at the Lions. You're going to get the Eagles at the Cowboys, the Chiefs at the Bills, and then Broncos, Steelers. Like, here's the deal with the holiday weeks at Circa. Goodell does not screw around with the standalone games or the holiday schedule. All these games are going to be like a pick'em.
Well, that's what we said last year. And the Eagles were a 7-point favorite over the Bears, and the Ravens were, a 9-point favorite? And by the way, they both lost. So if you played the contest correctly, you were out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If you had saved those two big favorites, and you got knocked out.
More with Mike and Derek coming up. Circa's 2026 football contest officially open this week. And if you want to play but won't be in Vegas every week, Winner's Circle Proxy can help. After your required in-person registration, Winner's Circle Proxy handles your weekly submissions so you can make your picks anywhere in the country. Winner's Circle Proxy, VSiN's preferred proxy service. One trip, play all season long from anywhere. Schedule your appointment now, winnerscircleproxy.com.
Up next, we'll ask Derek and Mike if they've done anything for the 2026 football contest like Survivor about entries teaming up to get 80, 100, maybe a little bit more together all at once. That's coming up here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Very exciting news here. $20 million the guarantee for Circa Survivor this year, 6 for Circa Million, and 4 for Grandissimo as we continue with Derek Stevens and Mike Palm from Circa Las Vegas. I get this question all the time. I don't know how to answer it, so I will ask the two of you. Can you do anything about people who tag team and as a result then wind up with 60 or 80 or 100 or maybe even more entries into the Survivor contest?
Well, obviously, that's not something that we love. You know, we love it. The people come out here in July and August, sign up, and run through it. But at the same point, you know, we come on these shows and we talk a lot about this where we want people that participate, we want them to monetize. Of course, we want them to maybe hedge and bet with us or in one of the states that we're in. So that's one option. But also, we understand that you're going to have people that are going to want to talk to their buddy, talk to their neighbor, sell 10%, and we think that's a pretty natural evolution, particularly when you get up to Thanksgiving and you're seeing the size of the pot at the end of the rainbow. You know, we want people to be able to monetize and say they made money playing in one of our contests. So one of the things we are doing though. Because it got a little bit too difficult last year. It got over the top. I think you may have heard Jeff Benson talk about IRS Form 5754. And we are going to limit the payouts to a total of 10 per entry. So last year, it just became crazy because you have to have all the contestants. They all have to show up. They all have to sign in. And when you have 20, 25 different people getting a payout, it becomes difficult from a management perspective, operating it. So on each of our contests, whether it's Circa Million, Circa Survivor, Circa Grandissimo, we'll have a maximum of 10 individuals that could go on Rule 5754. We thought that was the appropriate number because we want people to be able to monetize. We do want that to happen, but we also didn't really think it's optimal to have someone come in and then, you know, on week 15 they're buying into, you know, 5% here, 2% here, 8% here, all over the place. It's not really the spirit of what we can do. And there's only so much that we can really monitor, and we're not trying to push something underground. We're just being upfront. 10 people can cash. So that's kind of what we're doing on a ticket basis.
The debate was between whether that number would be 5 or 10. Right? But if you had 10 guys put in 10,000 each and buy a Grandissimo, you don't want to cut that option off for them, right? To be able to appropriately tax it and get paid out. So we settled on 10.
Did you have that last year? Were 10?
No, we didn't. And to Derek's point, there were some that had more than 20 people.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I meant to the Grandissimo.
Sharing.
Did you have an entry where it was like 10 people chipped in for 10,000?
Not all at the start, right?
Okay,
not all at the start.
Yeah.
Eventually, buying in throughout the course of the year, yes.
That's where it spread just like broken glass almost. Okay.
And that's what we're thinking. I mean, we think that our numbers are going to go up this year. We're certainly hopeful. And if it does, there's going to be a greater incentive to do it. So that's why we wanted to lay this rule set out. Everything can be found on circusports.com, but just lay out the rule set because we thought that would be a fair and appropriate way of moving forward.
Is everything straightforward with Millions, with the quarterlies and the boobies?
That's all. But the big change here, the big change is the number of entries. So we've gone to 10 on the Millions as well.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So we buried the headline successfully here. I mean, maybe it doesn't affect all the people, but yeah, you can get up to 10 entries as well now. So for both Survivor and Millions, but everything's the same in terms of the structure, Paul, with the quarterly payouts, the booby 100, the half a booby 50, and that everything remains the same.
So think about this. We wanted to make sure. Obviously, we don't want to get beat. We had an overlay last year. What do we have? 315,000. So we want to get to the 6 million. One of these years, we're going to get there. But think about this. CoinHop last year won with a record of 60, 29, and 1. Bison Sports Cards was also 60, 29, and 1, but lost the tiebreaker because CoinHop actually had 15 winning weeks, where Bison only had 14. So CoinHop wins 60, 29, and 1. But here's the real sad story. I guess it's a good story. On the booby prize side, Son of David wins the 100,000. That's the good news.
Yeah.
But the Son of David was 28 and 62. If he would have had the Oppo, he would have won the million in the blue jacket by a point and a half. So,
oh God,
I think part of the reason why we wanted to increase the number of entries in Circa Million was because we think there's a greater chance we'll get to the 6 million and the house doesn't get beat. That's fair to say. That was in our thought process, but also because I've been amazed at how many times the booby prize has a better record than the winning side.
Well, they start out 0-5. I mean, not everybody that wins it starts out 5-0.
Right.
Yeah.
They get a little bit of a head start.
Yeah. Is there anything you can do? Is there anything you can do with the no pick week 1?
The no pick week 1?
With Survive, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, think about no pick week 1.
It's out of control.
I would tell you no pick week 1 for whether it's for millions or whether it's for Survivor. Yeah, Survivor, you're knocked out. No, we didn't have any in Grandissimo. But the no pick week 1, that's what I would tell you. This is our bonus to America of positive EV.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody thinks it's going to happen to them. I mean, how many times can we go on the show saying, hey, public service announcement, make sure your password works, make sure you know how to do it. If you don't have a proxy, you ought to have a proxy. If you live across the street, you still should have a proxy.
I agree.
What happens if you break your ankle across I mean, you ought to have a proxy.
Yes.
And yet we're gonna have what, 20, 30 no picks on week 1?
Oh,
Every year more, because you're going to have more than 20,000 entries.
So it's your positive EV right there. It's built into the system.
How many calls does Benson get? Emails. What can you do for me?
He gets a lot of them. Phone calls, texts, emails, direct messages, tweet at, right? He gets a lot of them. There was a person last year, remember, that had 10 entries and didn't put any in. There was 0 for 10 on week 1. A local person, remember?
Yeah.
A local person. And then they didn't know. They claimed they didn't know. They didn't know they had to have
Call that.
Yeah. So the later in the year it gets, the worse it is for Jeff, because
he must be
when
the
it gets
most-
after week 10 and it happens, he gets called everything but a white man when he can't do anything for people.
I was going to say he must need like security at some point throughout the season, because people, if anybody,
how is it his fault?
But people don't realize
Well,
that.
he's
though.
the face of the contest,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
He represents it.
He's
right?
gotta take the brunt of the punishment
He's
here.
administering it, right? The guys in the risk room really have nothing to do with it. They just put the lines up on Thursday. They don't even care. They pay no attention to it. They just put the lines up. They're done with it. He's got to deal with all the folks that have issues.
You know, there's one way. If this was like the book Freakonomics, there's one way where people would actually never forget to put a pick in, and that would be if they got fined for that. But to your point, that would take away the positive EV that you create as a result. So if you go from like weeks 1 through 8, what's the total of no picks that are going to be for the first 2 months? That number's probably a couple of hundred.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, you think about that, the positive EV in that element. Yeah. Right? Yeah, it's amazing.
You must be quite confident that you're going to get 20,000 people in Survivor.
Well, you never know. What happens if Circa Grandissimo takes off and everybody wants to play in a contest with less entries? And maybe that cannibalizes Circa Survivor? I don't know. That could happen. I don't want to get beat on. We don't want to get beat on that one either. But I guess it could happen.
Well, there's a couple of headwinds, really. I mean, if you haven't noticed, gas and jet fuel prices have gone up a little bit in the last 5 to 6 weeks. So there's some tough things. I think the transformation of the Westgate to Caesars property probably helps the millions. That's a tailwind for that, right? I think if we don't get over the 6,000 this year, do it 4 times. Shame on me, I guess.
You also said something interesting during the break, tying into standalone games. And I'm with Derek, too. It's hard to watch 8 at the same time. But cut out this 9 and 3 business with 9 early and 3 late. And to Mitch's point, there are, how many weeks?
Seven with
7
3 games
weeks
late.
where there's only 3 late games.
The people that make the schedules live in New York, and they don't mind it because it's 1 p.m. The games are at 1. It's not. And they don't want a bunch of games in that 4:30 window, right? It's late for them.
By the way, you mentioned the Westgate transitioning into Caesars by the end of the summer.
Yeah.
And they've started a college contest last year. Who the hell knows what's going to happen with that thing? Would you guys ever consider that idea starting maybe next year?
Consider. It's always considered. All options are on the table.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Well done. Upon signing up into either of the football contests, Circa Sports will offer the following: 1 to 9 total entries in either contest, 50% discounted room rate at Circa for 2 nights. 10 plus total entries combined in either contest, free 2-night stay at Circa in a standard room. The full house, 20 total entries, complimentary 2-night hotel stay at Circa in a premium suite, must be used by September 11th, and 2 general admission passes to Stadium Swim per day come with each room booking. Please email info@circasports.com with your name, contest number, alias, what have you. info@circasports.com. If you want to book ahead of time, circalasvegas.com website as well to check it out, and the hotel team will take care of you as well. That's fantastic.
Very
Hey,
good.
Paulie, thank you for bringing that up. That's the reason why we do this. We don't take a rake. We want people to come and visit us in July and August out here in Vegas.
It's a great time.
Yes.
There's nothing better than Stadium Swim, man, during that time. Gentlemen, thank you very much. We appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
Great job as always.
Thank you for making time.
We'll rehash the info they just provided for us and get your reaction to it all coming up next.
I've been looking into Prolon, and what really stood out to me is that it's designed to give you the benefits of fasting without actually having to stop eating completely. It's a plant-based 5-day program with everything pre-packaged for you. Soups, snacks, drinks, all designed to keep your body in a fasting state so it can activate things like cellular repair and renewal. It's actually backed by years of research and developed alongside one of the leading longevity institutes, which makes me feel really comfortable in trying it. Prolon is offering FieldSwell listeners 15% off site-wide plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe to their 5-day program. Just go to prolonlife.com/FieldSwell. Again, that's prolonlife.com/FieldSwell to get your discount and bonus gift today.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Good to have you on board. We're live in Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot. Do have a game 1 tonight, Eastern Conference Finals. Super intriguing series. And we go out to the progressive guest line now. Brian Mahoney has covered the Knicks and the NBA for a long time for the Associated Press. He's live at the Garden tonight for the game. Brian, great to talk to you again. How are you today?
I'm good. A lot of people here tonight. I'm one of them, luckily.
Yeah. Let me guess.
Amen.
Cavaliers fans are going to take over the Garden like Game 7 against Detroit, or no?
Might look slightly different than Detroit did that night. Yeah. If those buses are coming, they're not getting in here. That's for sure.
Yeah. Knick fans are going to have a tough decision, not only in this series, but if they make the finals. Do I go to the game, or do I pay off my student loans, sell them, or get a new car?
Seriously, if you can sell one of these tickets, yeah, you're going to take a few years off and sail travel around the world. This is a pretty high ticket demand, and I can't imagine what the number would be like if they get to another round.
Yeah. Well, I loved your tweet when the playoffs started that you've been covering the Knicks and the Nets a long time, but they wouldn't play basketball this time of year. There wasn't success, but everything changed when they signed Brunson.
It really has been different. It's, they advanced every year since he's been here. And the expectation now is, forget just getting to the playoffs. They think they're going to get, 3. This year they thought they're going to the NBA Finals, which they might. So much has changed. It's only, like I say, 5 years ago when come April 15th, we knew we were going home. And that seems like forever ago nowadays.
I also thought it was refreshing to watch him play. I mean, that's kind of the understatement of the century. The last 7 games, they've been absolutely out of this world on offense. But a lot of it has to do with Karl Anthony Towns and actually suggesting we should run the offense through me a little bit more, playing the point center. And that was absolutely a thing in the previous 2 series. I'm guessing that they're going to try to make that how the offense is going to go again here against Cleveland, Brian?
It'll be interesting, Mitch, because obviously it's worked fantastically. As you know, they pulled this out against Atlanta, and they look like, they're a juggernaut, as Kenny Atkinson said about them. But at the same time, Cleveland has guys. First of all, they've had a long time to be able to watch it now. And 2, they have guys who should be able to defend Towns better. When you're talking about Mobley and Jarrett, they should be able to take some of that stuff away. So, Jarrett Allen. So we'll see how that works tonight. I'm sure Knicks are going to stick with it. We'll see if Cleveland can do anything about it.
Do you think 3 years ago matters at all when they blasted him and Allen was terrible in the series?
Well, he's going to hear about it for sure. I think he's a much better player then. The Knicks aren't quite as physical as that team was back then. So, I don't think it's going to make the same difference. But if things start out that way again, if he has a bad game 1, that noise is going to get loud pretty quickly.
Yeah. We've been talking about this all week. I can't believe it. OG is 35-1 to be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Walk me through, is he 100%, the practices, and now this is different than what happened when he had the hammy issue against Indiana 2 years ago?
Yeah, Paul, I mean, they could have been in the NBA Finals a couple of years ago. The way they were playing, if he didn't get hurt, they were playing that well, and, they were up 2-0, and he couldn't play anymore, and he makes that much of a difference to them. The way he's playing now, 21 points a game, and he's hitting like 60% from three-point range. And this long gap they had has been great. He's fully practiced their last 3 practices. We assume he's a full go tonight. So if he is, and he can pick up where he left off, he's so important to them, offense and defense, and he's never played better than he's playing right now.
Yeah, he's been a man on a mission so far before getting hurt, obviously. What can we expect from a guy like Miles McBride? In his last game, he was absolutely dynamite. How much run do you think he's going to get in this series, Brian?
I think quite a bit. They love him. I mentioned he was hurt late in the year. He missed some time. I think he had a sports hernia. He's gotten back to his full strength now, and we saw how good he was against Philadelphia. And they just have such confidence going to these guys off the bench now, whether it's him, whether it's Alvarado, whether it's Jordan Clarkson. They feel comfortable just switching the lineup around, taking Brunson off the ball if they want to, playing different styles. So they have weapons they didn't have last year for sure that they think will make a difference now.
What do you think of this Cavs team that had to go 7 with Toronto, who was missing 2 starters, and went 7 against Detroit, and we know Detroit was down 3-1, and if Wagner didn't get hurt, they were going to lose. Where are you at with this Cleveland team?
I mean, it's like watching 2 different teams on that ball. And you watch them in Game 6. They played at such an awful slow pace. They let Harden dribble too long, it seemed like. And then you watch them in Game 7. Mitchell and Mobley just took the ball and went to the basket. And when you play that kind of pace with the shooting they have around them, they're really dangerous. So it's just which way they're going to play. And I think if they play the way they played in Game 7, they are a darn good team, the team we kind of thought they should be the whole season.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. So then do you expect more Mitchell to be a facilitator? Because what they told them before Game 7, how they were collapsing on on him, that leaves the shooters wide open and pass more. Do you think we could see that in this series?
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely need to tell him to play the way he played the other day. Again, put the ball on the floor and go. And, not only was he throwing great passes to outside shooters, he was dropping the ball inside for easy layups. I mean, he was seeing the whole floor terrifically. And he has that in his game for sure. And it's just, sometimes they feel like, let's run it through James Harden. He's a great player. Of course, I understand that. But it sure looked like the answer to opening up things for them was doing it through Donovan Mitchell.
What do you think their plan is going to be for defending Brunson?
Well, it'd be interesting because the Knicks shot the ball so well around him in the last round. I don't know what the solution is. They certainly didn't need Brunson to be dribbling the ball as much as he did. I mean, Strus and Dunleavy, those guys can certainly do it. But again, Brunson played a little bit differently than we saw in that last round, and Cleveland's got to figure out what the best solution is against him while also defending those shooters.
Will we see the Twin Towers play at the same time?
Yeah, I think for sure. Especially, again, the way Allen and Mobley played the other night, both again scoring 20-something points, they're going to have to match that size. So I think for sure we're going to see a lot of Towns and Mitchell Robinson together, maybe even early in the game.
What would it mean to the city if they were able to do this? 1999 is a long time ago. And to think that they haven't made the finals that long, that's hard to believe. But what's the excitement level there? And if you can imagine, if they could win 4 more games.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. I mean, people just, they love how well the team has played, obviously. And again, it's a lifetime ago. And it's not even like they had chances between there. I mean, they were a bad team for most of the 2000s, and they've gotten good now that it feels like they're at the doorstep. They've upgraded the team every year the last 3-4 years, and there's a belief now they're going to do it. And there's a lot of excitement to see it happen, and there should be. I mean, this team is playing incredible, and if it doesn't happen now, you got to wonder when it would happen.
Yeah. What's the pecking order, by the way? I can guess, but what's the overall pecking order with New York sports teams? Obviously, the Knicks are right there now. The Yankees are loaded this year if they could ever stay healthy. The Giants obviously super popular. Like, well, how does it go? You think 1, 2, 3?
We talked about this a lot, Mitch. I'm not sure because both football teams have been terrible lately. I mean, I think it normally would have been Yankees, Giants, and then maybe Rangers. I don't really know, but nowadays people say, "Oh, no, this is a basketball town." So it's maybe the Knicks are higher than I thought they were because they're good now. But bottom line, I'm not really sure the answer anymore.
Would it be one of the highlights of your career if it's Knicks Spurs in the finals to see this guy, the alien, play? And the fact that he's 22 and you can't put any limitations on him, and you could throw out any stat line at this point, and I would believe he could do it.
I think it'd be awesome to see in the finals. I mean, Oklahoma City is incredible. We get that, but we've seen a lot about them. They don't really, excite you all that much. But Wembanyama, I mean, everybody, a casual basketball fan, just want to watch him play. What we saw last night on both ends of the floor, it's amazing one person can do all that stuff. So yeah, I think everybody would love to see him get his chance in the finals. And right now it's hard to imagine it can't happen in a couple weeks.
Put it this way. I've had a friend out here for like 20 years. I talk to him all the time, and he is not an NBA fan. In fact, he reached out to me late last night after the game and said, "Mitch, I have not watched an NBA game in more than 5 years. My nephew made me sit down and watch the entire game last night." And he goes, "I got to tell you, I'm going to watch more NBA now."
He's really that way. I mean, I have people talking about it this morning who I don't consider basketball fans, but you just don't see anything like that. Well, what he did last night is, that's like a high school kid. I mean, to put up those kind of numbers. So to see an NBA guy do that against the best team in the league, just incredible.
Could you believe they put Caruso on him?
No, I was amazed watching it. All the poor Jalen Williams comes back from injury to have to guard Wembanyama. I mean, Caruso he has the fight in him, but to me they have to give Holmgren a chance. You can't they're just throwing the ball up there and letting him tap it in. I mean, they have to at least put someone taller, make it somewhat difficult. The strategy just obviously didn't work. I'm not sure what does work against him, but what they did, it seemed like the wrong thing.
Yeah, I know it's only one game, Brian, but I mean, to see how young the Spurs are, and then, as I said in the previous segment, we forget about this. Dylan Harper was the number 2 pick last year, and he looks like he's been in the league for 10 years already.
No, it's hard to believe. They didn't even have theoretically the best lineup out there last night with De'Aaron Fox out. So those guys have just gotten so good so fast. They defend like crazy. They're all, they all seem like they're winners. So this is a team that's really fun to watch, and I think much better, quicker than we thought they were going to be.
Yeah. Overall, what would your guess be in this series? Knicks in 6 sound about right?
I think that's a good guess. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I would pick. I could see them obviously being a little shaky tonight after whatever it is, 8 or 9 games off. But I think they will get back to where they were, at least close to it. They're just playing too well, I think, to not be able to pull this off.
Very good.
Well said.
Brian, we love talking to you. Enjoy the game tonight. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Follow Brian on X at Brian C. Mahoney, and has covered the NBA, the Knicks, and the Nets for several years for the AP.
You getting a large pie, $20 in New York?
I would think not.
There you go.
Yeah, a lot of people reaching out saying, I don't know what you guys are, every place they go to and sit down for a pizza, it's $25 minimum.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
We'll get into some Major League Baseball coming up. I have to keep going back to the honey hole today. I'll explain that next here on VSiN.
Heading into spring and summer is a real reset season for me and for many of us who want to look and feel our best. Prolon's 5-day program is one of my favorite ways to do it, designed to support your body at a deeper level while still being simple to follow. If you're ready for a reset, this is a great place to start. Visit prolonlife.com/fieldswell for 15% off and a $40 bonus. That's Prolon, PROLON, life, LIFE.com/fieldswell.